myself on the screen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the best of the show. You know what I'm talking about. The best of the 757 Community Talk Show. You know what time it is because I got my guest here today. She's all over the place. She's everywhere. I'm talking about the one and only, the incredible, the incomparable. There she is. I'm talking about Simply C from the Simply C podcast. Good afternoon, Simply C.
Hello.
Hey, I had to go up there and steal a new photo.
I
You know,
saw.
yeah, you looking marvelous there. I mean, what was you? Was you on a photographer shoot or something? Or
No, I got my new shades in the mail.
oh,
I've been trying to figure out the best way to get glasses because for all of my life I've only had one pair of glasses.
oh,
2 years ago, I got my first pair of sunshades, had them for about a year. Somebody took them, and then I was back down to one pair of glasses.
oh.
So I ordered a bunch of sunglasses and a couple more pairs of glasses this year so I could have some backups, and those came in, and I felt good. So I took some pictures.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I just want to let the audience see, see the glamorous because you are a sunshade model now. You might get an endorsement. So they might call you up. You
That'd be
know,
nice.
yeah. What company did you purchase this by? If you don't mind me asking.
I buy direct, so it's literally the word IEYE, buy
Um,
direct, and then I figured I'd play with it and customize two shades as polarized and mirror shades.
all right, that's what I'm talking about. Get it up, get it up. Let them know. You want to be a eyeglass model. Sing you something. Let them know you got your podcast, Simply C podcast, and all that. You got it going on.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here today on the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show. She's my correspondent from Simply C podcast, Simply C, and an alumni colleague from WODU Studios at Old Dominion University, where I first had the pleasure of meeting this young lady when she walked in and said, "Hey, can I interview you?"
Yeah.
And we've been interviewing and talking ever since.
I'm telling you, that was a really interesting day.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't really do interviews. I do have one. I'm getting ready to do one uh, next week with one of the other young ladies that I was, had a pleasure being on as a guest on my show. And now, and we had to discuss things. When she was on my show, I said, you should need to start your own talk show. She said,
And
I'm
she
not for
did.
sure. And she eventually did. Now she's asking me to come on her show uh, to be, we'll film it. It's going to be filmed in the studio. And then, she'll let me know when it's going to air. I don't think it's going to air the same day, but I know next week I got to go and do that. So, but like I said, that'll be about since since you only I used to be a guest on WRAP AM 850 back in the day with
Mhm.
Frankie Stewart and the late great Frank James. They was doing a community talk show, and they just asked me to come on to talk. Because I think I got was that the time I got fired. Yeah, I got fired from the club. You know,
Oh,
and the owner of the club didn't know, and they was upset, because like I said, people, I don't get into, I come in a club. If I come in a club, and at the time, the club was called Raphael's, and it was owned by Winfred Sanford,
mhm.
and the DJ that was there running it, you know, he asked me to come over there. And so I go. But like I tell people, when I do things, I go in and do my due diligence. I go to the clubs, see what type of crowd you got,
Mhm.
watch the DJs that's playing, listen to them, okay, do I fit in with this formula? So, I've been playing right then about 10 years or
Mhm.
more, but extensively because it's like football or basketball. You got to train for it. You have
Mhm.
to train to be a DJ. It ain't something because you got two turntables and you just, oh, I can do that. And no, I don't do that. It's entertaining. So when I took the job, it was, I went there tonight since like on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those are the night they wanted me to play. So I'm looking at the audience. Okay, roughly they had about Thursday nights about 90. When I went 90, the other night they had about maybe 150. Saturday night I went just briefly. They had about maybe 200. Okay, so I'm gonna start the following week. I did. So I go in. I'm playing. People coming in. Following week, they had to close it by 10:30. You couldn't get in there.
Okay.
They had
I
a
was gonna say
line.
that's kind of early, but it's
Yeah,
good to be that
10:30.
early. And
10:30 is a shutdown.
yeah.
Line out the door. So I get a note on that was a Friday. The Saturday I come back, I get a note from the DJ that asked me to come, you know, and he said, well, uh, the, well, they said, well, you're not talking enough. You
Mhm.
gotta. I'm like, okay. When I go into a place, I gotta feel the audience, the energy. I don't do a lot of talking. I let my music. Let's let the music do it.
Mhm.
So, okay. So I do a few announcements. What else? I forgot something else. So uh, the next night I go in. The guy that hired me, he comes up. We slam pat. He said, "Let
Mhm.
me play a little bit. Let me play a little bit." No, no, you play and let me get on the mic.
Mhm.
Okay, ain't got no problem. He says he's talking. So I'm like, man, he's doing a lot of talking,
Mhm.
and he's in the. I can't get to the other turntable because he's in between the mic and the turn. I gotta move around him.
And he's
So when
trying to
he's
like he's doing that on purpose.
I don't know, not just because the crowd, I
Oh,
had to
okay.
we'll say as a DJ, when you get the energy of the audience, everybody wants to be
Close.
everybody wants to say, hey, I did this, I did that. I don't get into that ego stuff. My job, I'm
Oh,
just paid
okay.
to do a job and
Yeah.
I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So he's standing there. So I'm like, brother, getting ready to go off. So when he's still talking, he wouldn't move. So what I
Mhm.
did is I'm timing in my mind.
Mhm.
I timed it so when he said something, I picked the needle up and put it right back at halfway of the beginning.
Mhm.
He turns and look at me and say, God damn. I don't usually, I'm always cursing when I'm imitating people. God damn. I ain't never seen nobody do that. Do what? You didn't miss a beat because I don't miss a beat
Right.
because
It's always running.
spiritually I'm in
Yeah.
tune with it. I can do that. Like I tell people, that's my energy, that's my spirit. I can do things that to other people it might. To me, it's just common sense,
Mhm.
you know. So after that, what else happened? He's still talking. Okay, I'm still working. So flow is packed. Can't get no more people on the flow.
Mhm.
Owner come up and say, "Hey, look, I done closed the door.
Mhm.
We're not letting nobody else in. We at capacity or over capacity right now. So
Mhm.
keep the floor pumping." Okay. A few minutes later, this guy comes up and said, "No, I'm gonna skip to the end."
Mhm.
At the end of the night, he said, "Great job, great job." Okay. So the guy comes up, a customer, and he was standing there. The customer said, "Hey, man, you did an excellent job, man. And we come over here all the time. And
Mhm.
and my wife, she's had a marvelous time thanks to you, because I said happy birthday to her. And
Mhm.
that's what I do. If it's your birthday all through the night, I'm just gonna mention your name,
Mhm.
people names and stuff. Man, she's all she is talking about. She said, "Oh, she's so happy. And I want
Mhm.
to thank you personally for what you did for my wife." I said, thanks. I really appreciate you, letting me know. Uh, then he reached in his pocket and said, here you go. This is for you. Whoa.
He was trying to give you a tip?
Yeah, I said, I don't take tips. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's my job to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that he said, no, but I want you to have it. I know it's your job. I know you're getting paid, but
Mm-hmm.
this is a gift from me to you. So he gave me $100.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy looking that gave me that hired me. So I called Monday or Tuesday, when can I come and pick up my check?
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, we got to talk about something first. I said, okay. He said, what do you want first? You want the good news or you want the bad news? I
Mm-hmm.
said, don't matter either one you want to tell me. He said, the bad news is this weekend we had complaints about
Complaints.
yeah, about you, your music, and about you talking. I
But
said,
y'all told, never mind.
yeah.
Okay.
I said, okay. Me talking. I said, what was said? Man, the lady wrote a note. I'm gonna read you the note. You know, and the note said, I don't know where you got that DJ from, but he's the worst DJ you ever had there. And he did so much talking all night long. I don't think we coming back to your establishment.
Wow.
And so another person complained about you kept the people on the dance floor too long.
So what were you supposed to do?
Yeah, I'll say, well,
Like, I honestly had two questions. Like, didn't you tell me to talk more? And then what am I paid for? You want me to? These people are supposed to sit down.
right.
Okay.
And he said, and he said, man, you got to understand, these are older people over here, man. These people, you done made them people have a heart attack.
Did you?
Huh?
Was there
I said,
anybody in an ambulance?
yeah, I'm saying, okay. I said, say, can I say something now? He said, yeah, go ahead. In your defense, yeah, let me give you I said, well, that wasn't me talking. He said, what are you saying? I said, you remember when you came up there, you told me to let you talk because I wasn't saying enough? That was you
Right.
talking. I never talked. You remember? I only said a few
Right.
things. And you said, let me get on the mic and let me talk. And he's holding a conversation.
Stood there. Yeah.
A DJ is a rhythm, like, where you from, what's your name,
Right.
I like the way you look or whatever, I'm a jokester. I'm gonna create comedy.
Right.
I'm a comedian. So,
Right.
and that's short. So you said, well, okay, well, I beg the difference because the lady wrote the note, and I said, who it
Mm-hmm.
was? I said, okay. I said, secondly, you said I kept the people on the dance floor too long. I said
Mm-hmm.
the whole night, the owner said the place is packed and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And two, I played fast songs and I played just as many slow songs.
Mm-hmm.
On slow songs, I'm like I tell I consider it bragging when I do it, but I don't like to. I'm the only DJ, probably in the history of DJing, have kept a dance floor for over an hour and 10 to 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
just with slow music. Packed. I ain't talking
Mm-hmm.
about 5 people, 10. I'm talking about over 200 to 300 people
Mm-hmm.
on a
Just
dance floor,
moving.
you know. And
Yeah.
that to me, I like I tell people, what I do is I create history. I make history. I don't entertain that I'm a good DJ or I'm better than you.
Mm-hmm.
History can speak for itself. I'm the only DJ in the history that's played 7 nights a week. I ain't talking about the 10 or 15 people. 7 nights a week at one club, 1,200 people every Monday night for over 2 years, 2.5 years until I left. No other places ever did that. And the place didn't supposed to have but 300 to 400 people in there.
So you were illegal activities all the time.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't mentioning no names. Every place I ever played,
Mhm.
it's always been those numbers. I don't care if it's a black club or a white club.
Mhm.
So when people don't understand when God gives you gifts, those are the gifts that you're born with. What I do is I sharpen those gifts and teach other people and bring other people under my wing and like, hey, it's not about me. It's how many DJs can you open doors for?
Mhm.
How many people can you open doors for? And this is what happens in our community. This is why we have all this violence and stuff going on, because we promote negative stuff before we'll promote positive stuff. And that's the reason I became a DJ,
Mhm.
to open up doors for people that wanted to be DJs. I've trained DJs
Mhm.
for clubs. I've trained DJs that never DJ, that went on to get jobs in clubs. I've trained people even when I went to broadcasting school and I came back here, was blessed to get a job at WZAM 1110, 50,000 water, right out of broadcasting school.
Mhm.
I trained people there. You know, I I'm always like I try to explain to people, it's not about you, it's not about me. God give all of us gifts to opportunity to help somebody along the way so that our living won't be in vain.
Mhm.
Our kids are dying because of the lack of knowledge of self. They go to school, and we see that today with the history, blocking history. They want to block history. But as I was watching the news last night in Virginia Beach, which they're supposed to make a decision on this statue that they took down in Virginia Beach, but
Mhm.
somebody wants to put it on private property of a Confederate soldier, whatever. And the white lady said in the news, she said, I don't think that my history, my children's history should be blocked.
You know your children's history. It's not like
Right,
our generation knows anything about that or has. I
right,
mean, they have access to the internet, but there's a lot of stuff in the air. I knew classmates in high school in New Jersey who could trace their family back to the Mayflower.
right.
I have one branch of my family that can do that. My
Okay.
dad's family can't necessarily do that. Their history system is different than ours. Their lineage system is different than ours. Their name, like they name each other based off of different factors. So
Mhm.
I will never know, I think, how far back I can go on my family on that side. But the one side that I can go on is my granddad's mother's side of the family has a
Okay.
lineage printed all the way back out to this one particular slave who was bred for his, what's the word? He just was a super tall, dark, chocolate, muscular man that made a bunch of babies, basically. And
Okay.
then before that, I think they go back to the slave ship, but that's one branch,
Right.
so that's not really something that I can hear that, but I also feel like having it on private property is still you're honoring your history while giving space for me to have mine.
Right. And the governor himself said uh, they don't want history here about slavery taught in school.
But it started here. Like, what are you talking about?
That's
You
what it
sound
said. But they don't want us to know, you know. And the really is that what they're saying is, because this is whenever you hear a white lady say something, and I got white people in my family. You know, my great grandmother married a white man.
Mhm.
I can trace mine back because I done been on the thing, trace it all the way back to slavery. And when it gets after my mom's mom, then it goes to white people.
Mhm.
That's it goes to white. You know, uh, So like I keep telling people, we're not racist. When we have a family reunion and down in North Carolina, Muffinsburg, They move it around now a lot,
Mhm.
different states. But it's white people sitting there. I'm like, I said, like, who is that? My cousin, man, that's your cousin. My cousin. Oh, okay,
I'll
well.
tell you what. I was at work because I worked in athletics last year, and there was a student with the same last name as one of our family names, and
Mhm.
I saw it, and I was like, I wonder what kind of student that is. And I met them, and they're um, the other side of the branch. And then I went to the family reunion recently, and they were talking about that, and they were like, "Oh yeah, don't be surprised. We cousins. We all cousins." Da, 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 da. Like,
Right.
well, nobody else there, but the people I was familiar with, but still.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, see, the thing is, black people ain't racist. We are not racist.
I feel like to an extent because I feel like you're supposed to prefer your people
Right.
as kind of like that familiarity of continuing your generations.
Mhm.
I feel like we're more accepting, but I'm not going to say we don't have racism because
Well,
there's definitely colorism. I've been called some things.
right. Well, I mean, I grew up in this area, not in Virginia Beach, where I reside now, but
Mhm.
in Portsmouth. I mean, there's always been racism. My mom would always tell us, don't hate nobody. That's what,
Right, exactly.
and that's when I'm growing up as 4 and 5 years old.
Yeah.
Don't hate nobody.
My mom said we all bleed the same blood.
Right.
We all have the same
Yeah.
priorities. Everybody
Right.
just goes about it their own way.
Yeah, but don't go nowhere. She would stress. You do not go with nobody's house.
Mhm.
Somebody call you to a car, go the other way.
Mhm.
Go across the street, but don't trust to go with no one.
Mhm.
Have I been spit on as a black person from a white person? Yes. Have I been spit on by a black person? Yes. So what's the difference? I mean,
Yeah.
is if somebody spit in your face, they spit in your face, you
Yeah.
know. But I mean, I've been around white people that I work with. Nobody's. I mean, I entertain. They treated me. They didn't disrespect me. I mean, I
Right.
played. I'm like one of the few blacks in this area back in the '80s. It was mostly in the '80s and stuff that a black man will be even played in a white club.
Mhm.
So I'm playing for white people. I'm playing for 9 to 1,200 people at the Heartbreak Cafe every Friday and Saturday night.
Mhm.
And Wednesday nights. Same thing. I'm paying to about 4,000 people a week. Nobody never
Mhm.
came and called me out my name. One of the owners, one of the managers, when this white lady, kind of on the wealthy side, I guess, because the diamond she had on was bigger than any rock that I was seen. You know, she came up and said, "Excuse me, would you dance with me?" And I said, yeah, I would love to, but I'm the only DJ here.
Mhm.
And I'm playing 45s. A minute, 2 minutes, 2 minutes,
Mhm.
5 seconds, tops. I said, before I can get down and come out there, it's nobody to put the next record on. But as soon as they
Right.
get here, I will come and dance with you. She said, "You promise?" I said, "Yes, I promise." I mean, people don't understand. White women are sensitive. If you say no to them, they will start crying.
Mhm.
You just say, "How you doing? Good evening. How you doing? How you doing?" If you don't speak to them, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I learned a lot being in the atmosphere of
Mhm.
mostly white people and under the entertainment side, and they
Mhm.
sensitive. If you say, like we call black people, say, "Yo, baby, you fat," you tight it up too.
That's a compliment, but they don't take it that way.
Yeah, you can't say that to the white lady. No, man, they'll break down and start crying. It's
Oh
like
man.
you stole something from them. You
Mhm.
call me, and these are women that is already skinny.
Mhm.
I mean, gorgeous. What? You, you, you said I'm fat. Why did you say that? I said, "Whoa, up. What's wrong?" She said,
Yeah.
you said I look fat. I diet. I take this." I said, "Ma'am,
Yeah.
I don't mean." I'm trying to say it as
The silence and the motions just says it all.
yeah, right. Um, just I'm gonna say it like because
You're
I'm
like, I
black
have no words to
and
correct
you're
it.
white. When a black man says that to a lady, that means
It's a
that you're
compliment.
sexy and beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, I am. And then she kind of come around, but you ain't you ain't gotta use profanity, curse them out.
No.
I mean, I just get in trouble just if I talk too loud.
Hmm.
Why are you yelling at me? What? I mean, I just get in trouble. That's why I'm quiet. I don't talk to people. I went 4 years at Old Dominion, 2 years at Tidewater Community College, and all the teachers and like, why you don't talk?
Hmm.
Now you know by being a co-host and stuff on the show that I got a loud voice, and when we sit down and have discussion things not on air, I got a loud voice. You know that is not yelling. That is
It's just
my voice,
loud.
just
Yeah.
loud. The only way I can control it is by not talking and pace myself. You know,
Hmm.
and then I can lower it. But I've been trained professionally because the volume of your voice comes from down here,
Hmm.
from your frame, your
Diaphragm.
diaphragm. So when
Yeah.
I'm speaking and I'm sitting down, I can calm it somewhat. But if I'm standing up, it'll be elevated much
Hmm.
more. But it's just that we sometimes don't want to talk to people. We don't want to do things to promote other people. That's why it's always a pleasure, to have you come on, and so that people can get familiar with you. So when you get rich and famous, they can say, "Well, you started with Captain 85," you know, and I can get some of your paycheck. And just let it be said, let it be known that I'm looking to get paid when you get the big bucks, you know, if I'm still around, which I'll be here till another 50 years. So I'm good for that. I know
Hmm.
you're going to be somewhere in the next 3 to 5 years,
That's what I was thinking because
you
it's
know.
getting easier to like as much grief of it as I've gone through.
Uh-huh.
I decided to take this summer to kind of take a break and kind of reflect, refresh, heal. First of all, because I spent the past couple years trying to fight kind of what I was feeling,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of just stunted me. So, forcing myself to take this space is kind of helping me get back to who I am, um, process what's happened, decide how to move forward. Again, literally getting to the core of getting back to who I am, and it's feeling
Right.
like it's going to take like another 3 years for things to kind of like settle themselves out and for life to start making sense. Because I lie to you not, this morning I spent a good amount of time like listening to the word, and then once I got my message, like my spirit was like, all right, time to start figuring out, work backwards on a budget, look at jobs like I used to do all this stuff in high school. And up until the first incident happened to my family, I was really big on trying to plan my future, making sure I knew where I wanted to go, how I wanted to do it, making a plan and then going to it. Um, and today was like the first time I actually started doing pen to paper again. So that felt really good because then it's like, oh, okay, I can. It doesn't matter what I work because I've done a lot of things. So now I just have to figure out what I wouldn't mind doing as like a 9 to 5
Okay.
as I build my like passive incomes. Like I just got a PC. Um, I've been working on my media stuff so I can have my business and have that income coming in as something I enjoy doing. Maybe my job will have that flexibility for me. Um, But literally sitting down, looking at salaries and counting backwards and saying, okay, now this is what I want to do. This is what I have right now. And this is what I want to get to. Um, was like a really, I don't know how to say it, it was just an awesome moment to experience this morning and kind of realize.
Okay. Well, the thing is, because you're still in the stage of finishing up,
Hmm.
your degrees, and what would you tell parents if they got young ladies uh, about a career in the communications, podcasting, and all the things that go along with it?
Everything takes time. And I would tell anybody to give that child a gap year. One of my cousins is the only one that got to do that out of all the kids of our generation, and she's thriving right now. She knows what she wants to do. Um, her social skills are a little bit better, and she's more prepared for college. Um, and in college, with communications or basically anything, you have to give it time. So just to be patient and keep experimenting, keep trying, let yourself fail and be okay with it, because that was really hard for me.
Hmm.
Because when you look back, especially if you look at your favorite content creators and you watch how they started versus when they really got professional, a lot of people joined them while they were building. And then when they became professional, they had that solid support system. They had developed their character, their personal character, but also their persona. And it took
Hmm.
that trial and error and it took that patience. And even if they didn't have patience, they had to learn it, or they had to learn grace as they had their challenges. So just be patient with yourself and take your time.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key. Being patient. Um, and like I tell people, I've worked in different areas, and I always been a spokesperson or communicator. I mean, when I was coming up, what sparked in me, I don't, I always listened to music
Hmm.
because, well, like I mentioned before, my father played the guitar. He was a blues singer. Uh, Not professionally. He wanted to be. He would play back in the day when he was growing up, juke joints, and then he said some white guys tried to kidnap him and take him to Memphis, but he told him
Oh,
he had to use the bathroom, and they stopped and let him.
and he left.
He ran in. They stopped on the side of the road by the cornfield. He ran through the cornfield and,
And they got lost.
and hid. No, he hid from them
Okay.
until they pulled off. And so listening to my dad sing on the porch when we was growing up, TV, we had TV, but you couldn't. We would have to go to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock, mostly at 8. We was school, but as I got older, and it wasn't no, I was the oldest one left after my sister left, and my brother that I'm next to, who's in New York now, and my sister who worked with me at Picasso's,
Hmm.
who passed away several years ago, and she bought this had this cassette player because she came from New York with it,
Hmm.
and she gave it to me when she left. She said, "You like this?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You can keep it." She always treated, I was like, I guess maybe I was her favorite. She always give me something. Even as I got older, like, yo, I'm gonna take you shopping when I went to broadcasting school.
Hmm.
I said, I don't need no clothes. She said, well,
I want to
you
spoil you.
you up here in New York, you can't wear that. You can't wear that. You can't wear what you're wearing now.
No, that's true. That's still true to today.
Yeah, yeah, because they will get you up there.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, homie, where you from? You ain't from up here. You from down south somewhere, ain't you?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I said,
funny.
yeah. I said, where you? They said, where you from? I said, Portsmouth. Portsmouth? Where is that at?
Yeah.
Is that anywhere near Norfolk? I said,
Oh,
yeah,
so they would
that
know
is.
Norfolk, but not.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, you down? Yeah, that's down south, bro. You down south.
Hmm.
You deep, bro. You deep. They ain't, I don't think they knew nothing about Virginia Beach at that time because I didn't.
Nah, it wasn't the big
But
city yet.
yeah, so, but like I keep telling people, when you learn, I mean, I've been in different, I went to school there, and I used to, when I was 13 or 14, I worked up there. I stayed with my oldest brother, and they had the organization called Harlem Backstreet that put youth to work.
Mhm.
And back then, I was like 13 years old. I was working up there. I was getting paid like $350 a week.
That's a lot of money.
Back then, yeah. I'm
That's
like,
still a lot of You're a teenager?
teenager, that's a lot of money for an adult. New York, how you in New York? Holla.
Yeah.
That was when Mayor Lindsay was the mayor.
Mhm.
And my brother's organization with other organizations in New York City, they boycotted the city because the
Mhm.
city wasn't giving the youth anything to do. So
And it
after
worked?
they wind up. We after few incidents down at Wall Street and wouldn't let the people on the subways when they get off. He
Mhm.
signed a deal for $68 million just for the summer to give the black community jobs. $68 million, and through that signing of the bill, I was able to make $350 or $380 before taxes, and after taxes it was like 310, 305 or something I brought home.
Mhm.
But you get to know a lot of people, and that's why I had the pleasure of meeting 5 percenters. You
Mhm.
know, back then when I was 14. Like I said, I'm sitting in the park in Harlem. I forgot the name. I forgot the name of the park, but I was sitting there singing, and the guy walked by. I said, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Is that a gospel song you singing?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, you got a good voice. Man, you
Mhm.
should be a singer." He said, and I told him my name. He said, "Your name is what?" He said, "If you was a Muslim, your name would be Hindu." Because
Hindu?
yeah, Henderson, Hindu.
Oh, okay.
But it was him. He said in Muslim, as a Muslim, it would be, if became a Muslim, your name would be Hindu. And he
Mhm.
said, if anybody ever bother you, I'm gonna write down my number. Here it is. And anybody bother you over here, mention my name. Everybody over here knows who I am. So you ain't gonna have no problem. If you do, keep a dime with you.
Mhm.
Call me
Call me up.
call me up,
Mhm.
and I'll have some people over here and and take care of whatever's bothering you. So
Mhm.
I know because one day when we didn't get paid that first week, we was a day late.
Mhm.
And when we got off, we was walking down 125th Street. I was
Mhm.
walking with one of the guys that I work with, and we got up to by the Apollo. So he was going in the tailor shop to get measured for some pants. And I like, I'm gonna go ahead on home. I'm gonna catch the subway. And
Mhm.
when I did that, he these guys, about 6, 7 guys, just circled me. And like, yo, man, we want your money. I said, money? I said, I ain't got no money. I said, well, man, don't tell us that. We're gonna see, we're gonna find out. We're gonna
Mhm.
search your pockets. I said, well, okay. I said, well, I ain't got no money. I said, I got a quarter. You ain't taking that. That's on the
Mhm.
money I got. I got to catch the subway back to the Bronx.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, if I find anything else other than that, we're gonna take it and we're gonna take care of you too.
You could
So
try.
yeah, I keep trying to tell people you
Cause
can
didn't you do
try.
martial arts?
And well, at 12, I mean, 13, I wasn't, but
Oh.
I always exercise.
Mhm.
I always exercise in shape, and I'm always fast.
Mhm.
That's why, when I came martial arts, when I started taking martial arts, my teacher said, because you can kick high and you real fast with your hands,
Mhm.
you'll leave my class as a black belt within a year.
Mhm.
I would have got my black belt within a year. you know. But like I keep telling you, as I studied Bruce Lee never had a belt.
Mhm.
He never had a belt. He said a belt is only used to hold up your pants. But they give them out. They
Yeah.
give people, but from white all the way up to black, and then they
Mhm.
put stripes on it, the degrees of black belt.
Mhm.
So he created his own type of martial arts, which he could fight 100 men by himself with weapons
Mhm.
and stuff. But like all the things that we learn through life, it puts you in a position of things that you're not even expecting. I didn't expect to be a DJ. I worked in the warehouses, as a team, and learn how to operate forklifts, gas,
Mhm.
electric. Um, from there, learn how to drive stick shift, because the guy said he had ordered. He wanted me to take the Curls back then. Curls like McDonald's. He said, "Well, you'll learn today.
Mhm.
Take that truck out there." And it was a big truck. He said, "You'll learn." I'm like, he put me out here. I
And
was
it was a
scared to death.
manual?
He's all you got to do is put the pedal over here and shift this and shift the gear.
No, it was a manual.
Like a five, he had 5 gears.
Yeah.
And I made it down the hill off of
Mhm.
Victory Boulevard to Curls. But when coming back,
Took you
going
forever.
up the hill, and I put my foot on the clutch, and the truck start rolling back. I'm glad I didn't run into it. I didn't, I guess somebody went on my tail,
E-brake.
and then I shifted it finally shifted in the gear. I'm like, I'm not driving no more trucks. He said, I'm not. He said, well, if you work here, you will learn. But I did learn, but that's just like swimming. I don't know how to swim, and with my wife, she said, well, they would throw you in the water. You either sink or swim in the military.
Mhm.
I'm not doing
Fight or
that.
flight breaks in.
Yeah. So, but it's so much stuff that you do that these young people today don't do it. To
It
me,
depends.
yeah.
It really depends
Uh-huh.
because I know some people who don't and probably won't do those kind of things because they just don't have the desire to.
Uh-huh.
But I do know some people who are doing that. Like my friend's husband, he's going to dive school now.
Uh-huh.
That was a career, not a career change, but he spent a few years starting in the military, not sure what he wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
He drove trucks. I think he was a mechanic. And then he learned about dive school. He started training. He liked it. So he decided he's going to apply for it. If he gets it, cool. And if he doesn't, he's already doing something he knows how to do. Um, my friends are mostly military affiliated. So my guy best friend went to try to join the military. He wasn't able to get in. He got sick in basic training.
Uh-huh.
So when he got out of the military, he kind of had some career things to consider because he still wants to go back. um, because it feeds the competitiveness, it gives you awards to feed the recognition.
Mhm.
It gives you goals to look forward to, and it kind of plans things out and it's a little bit more structured than you having to figure it out on your own. But in the meantime, he joined the sheriff program, which is kind of like military adjacent, but in the civilian world. So you still kind of have your independence with the structure of law enforcement. Um, One of my friends from high school, she kind of did the same thing. She was in the military, except she went to reserves.
Mhm.
And then she also did security. I can't remember what she's doing now, but I think that part is about finding and surrounding yourself with people who have the desire to learn and are sponges. And you have to be socially, I don't know if it's a social thing because they're all introverts.
Okay.
Um, but it is the desire to be out, like outside of yourself and outside of your head and kind of out of your comfort zone to try to challenge yourself because there's more to life than just sitting looking at a screen playing some video games all the time,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
That's what I'm saying. With the metaverse, I don't.
Oh, I've played some of the VR games and I
Uh-huh.
get how people get addicted to it, but my eyes, like, I need some non screen time, and that screen time like 2 inches from your face.
Right. I'm just saying is they'll tell you. I mean, this is what people are not understanding. If they tell you
Mhm.
before you go to bed, don't be on your phone. Why? Because of the light from the screen.
It's that and the dopamine,
It's
because
going to
a lot
affect
of
the
yeah,
brain. So why is it that you coming out
with
letting your
more.
kids with their whole brain,
Yep,
their whole essence in a machine,
yep,
looking at that light?
yep,
What is it doing?
yep,
And then you say the same thing about the television.
yep,
Turn the TV off because it's the light from this screen
yep,
is changing the chemistry in your brain that keeps you up. So
mhm.
why is it that the kids are walking around with these things on their face?
It's easier.
It's easy
And you
to
got to look at the generation that's raising a lot of them. It's the generation that grew up with those luxuries. Because we talked about this. I was on David has a podcast now,
oh, okay.
and I was just on his podcast, and we were kind of talking about the like how we're kind of the last generation that really understood what it meant to go grab an encyclopedia.
Right.
And he understood it because of his mom. But most of the kids his age, they don't necessarily understand that. Anybody basically younger than, I think he's 20 or 21 now. So anybody
Okay.
younger than them has never really touched an encyclopedia. They're obsolete now.
Hmm.
Um, Never had to go to a computer lab, never had to go to the library. They had a house computer, they had cell phones. They all grew up on internet. I think I grew up on internet. I can't remember I grew up on internet, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like one computer. Everybody shared that one computer. When you
Right.
came home, you had a certain amount of time, like 30 minutes a day, might have, because you spent a lot of your time outside playing with your
Uh,
neighborhood kids. People don't really do that anymore. We had the luxury also of growing up in the military community. So you kind of knew your neighbors.
uh,
And then you had gated communities for the formidable years. I think we hit a point when we started just like living out in town. But we knew that nobody was going to just come in and grab us. No stranger. Everybody knew each other. There was security. That was base security. So we were blessed in that aspect. But a lot of kids today, they don't have those luxuries. And as you can see, there's a lot of reasons why not to have those luxuries with what
right.
happened right after COVID. Like,
Hmm.
why is it the day that schools opened up, a school in Hampton had a shooting already? They didn't want to go back to school. Everybody was
Right.
scared. Before
Right.
COVID happened, like, there was always a concern of the mentality of someone coming into the school because schools don't really have good security. There's your neighbors, you never know. Then there's neighbors that you do know, but you don't know what they're doing behind closed doors.
Right.
There's a lot to consider as far as why the kids are the way they are today because life is different and it has changed. I just wish that either parents or community leaders would be more proactive about their involvement in these kids' lives and kind of be the mentors, continue those programs because I had DeFi, I had summer camp, I had, things to look forward to, social interactions to kind of help
Right.
us get out of the house. We weren't allowed electronics at those interactions. Nobody really had phones because it was years ago. But still, like even if you had a phone, that had to stay in your backpack. Today we're going outside. Today we're going to play this. Today we're going to make a talent show. You're going to
Hmm.
come up with your own act for this talent show. Oh, you want to do it by yourself? Cool. Oh, you want to do it with other people? Go practice. Like they give you activities to stimulate your mind, your
Hmm.
creativity. They give you workbooks. I used to hate them as a kid, but like looking back on it, it might have been an hour I spent doing a workbook, and if I did it like I was supposed to, I could just go outside and play.
Right.
So um, I don't know. I see some people my age range with having younger kids, and I just pray for them. Like I just pray that they're able to balance responsibility and enjoy their child. You know, um, balance how to raise that child in the best way for them, both that suits the family and suits the child for growth, so that that child can have or better use the resources that we have and not quite be taken to them, but kind of take them and grasp it and use it for something.
Yeah. That's what I'm really getting at is because, with today, everything is, play a video game or be on a screen, and the violence that occur, you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk
Oh,
about, so how are you going to change the culture of a balanced society? We're living in a balanced society and technology is all around us, but we are living in a balanced society that you're constantly pushing technology that's showing more balance.
because it's an uncomfortable topic and it's an uncomfortable process, but it's just like realizing a lot of people are uncomfortable looking at themselves and kind of the things that they have to do to grow. The community as a whole has the same issues.
Well, I mean, I know I've been advocating for this for years. Uh, you know, back in the '60s, I mean '70s and '80s, it the technology and the things that young people were going through was raising it head then,
Mhm.
slowly, gradually. And by me being in radio or by me being in the club, these are the things I constantly put protect my kids from. They had video games.
Mhm.
They had every console. One play Xbox, the other one plays um, um, Nintendo,
PlayStation.
and you had um, they had every one of them. You know, so because everybody had one of a different skill or different technique they use.
Mhm.
So, but you know, Xbox was mine, PlayStations was my son. The other thing with exercising and sports, it was I forgot the Wii.
Wii U or Wii Fit or something.
Yeah, we fit. Okay, so all that they always had it because at that time I could afford to, have all the games, and if they got good grades, so they did what they needed to do around the house, what the mother told them, because I'm constantly on the go by managing
Mhm.
and DJing. I'm out every night. I leave at 8 o'clock. I don't come back to 4 or 5 in the morning. When they get up to go to school, I'm just falling asleep,
Mhm.
and I don't even see them until I come back
Mhm.
home about 6 o'clock. They get ready to shower and change to go back to the club.
Mhm.
So, my interaction is that my wife, they was dependent on. And then when I left, my first wife, we were separated and I went to broadcasting school in New York. My thing was that when I finished school, I know we were separated, contemplating a divorce. And I tell people I've done things that what I wasn't intending to do, things that happened, but it did. My responsibility was to my three sons at that time,
Mhm.
and I did had to, uh, I had a daughter out of wedlock, but I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to stay in New York and leave my kids down here to defend for themselves.
Mhm.
Um, and that's what I came down here. I worked three jobs a day. Every day I was working three jobs. I go get up in the morning, go to radio station at 5 o'clock, leave there at 2 o'clock, come home, get a couple hours of sleep, wake up about 6:30, get ready, wake up about 5 o'clock, shower and change, go to the
Mhm.
heartbreak from there at 7, leave the heartbreak about 10:30, leave there and go to the Club Royal Blue, stay there from then until 4 in the morning,
Mhm.
and then get a couple hours sleep and right back. This I did for 4 or 5 years. Like I keep
Mhm.
telling people, I'm not afraid of work. I was brought up to work. I know how to do that, and it's not the glamour, you know. I got to make a paycheck,
Mhm.
and those three, to get my kids and be able to pay the rent. And my wife was working, and that doesn't fall on one individual. No
Mhm.
man is an island unto himself. Just like a woman, we had to work it out, you know, and we did. And uh, my kids are now grown,
Mhm.
even though somewhere along the way, my first wife, we did separate again. And eventually we separated for 7 years before I got a divorce because, like, again, I'm still working two or three jobs, creating and inventing other things, not just at running a club or managing and operating. I'm also opening up a convenience store, you know, to study that because I study everything I do. You have to be engaged in order to see so far ahead.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons I constantly, bring you on as a correspondent and a host, um, to show you. It's either to show by you being a part of the experience, because you can say, okay, this is what I need not to do. This is when I'm talking on a topic, to cut it here, to look at it. What do I need to edit to this? Because this is what I learned in school, in broadcasting school.
Oh, I spent many, many nights. When I do tours of the studio, I tell people,
Oh,
like, for the first 2.5 years I did my podcast, I was in that studio every day, all day. Like when I lived
Right.
on campus in 2020, I was in there as soon as I got out of class. I would run to my next class, go right back to the studio till it closed at midnight, to the point that that night custodian lady hated me. She
Right.
absolutely hated me. She came in one time and she was like, "You know this is closed." Da 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 da. I was like, "I didn't know I'm working, but okay, whatever." I finished up what I was doing. But I felt her like outside waiting for me to finish so she could come in, and all she did was change the trash. She didn't even wipe the tables, no nothing. Like I wiped the tables down. I was in there studying, making episodes, editing, practicing, listening to myself, because there's a lot that I realized I can, if I can do it in production, I don't have to do as much in post production, and that's what a lot of that time was spent for.
Right.
Um, and I do appreciate you having me on your segment, because there's been a long time since I've put an episode out, so I'm kind of like out of practice.
Uh-huh.
So this is kind of like constant. How can I adjust my responses? How can I ask questions or engage
Right.
differently and kind of keep it as a balance?
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah. And you as a colleague and as a co-host, it gives you the ability to see things in your mind so that you can react, because that's what reporting is. Engaging with an audience is to be able to respond to something at a minute notice. When I went to broadcasting school in New York to learn the technical side of DJing and all that, we had to, one class is, okay, here's a 2-hour reel. Two
That's not
hour
a reel.
reel. You have to edit that down to 50 minutes.
That's fine. There's a lot you can chunk out of that.
Yeah, but but you got to make it to make sense. Just
Yes,
like,
I
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
so I know
So
what
with
you're saying.
yeah, so
I
with
didn't
this
know.
it's easier
Yeah,
with
because
the
it's
technology
live.
we have now,
Yeah. Oh, that's
and
right. That was film.
that was real. You
Oh,
reeling.
that's what you meant.
You got to
Okay.
you got to you got to do this.
Yeah.
You got to listen for a sound
Yeah.
from the tape, and that's when you slice it.
Yeah. It's the
You know,
same, but it's digital now.
right?
Never mind.
Digital,
That's a lot
digital. You
harder.
slice it, you can see it and put it back together.
Hmm.
That you can put it back together, but you're using tape.
I understand.
And
My mom
then
used to talk about
I
that.
can take it, and we had to edit a 2 hour a talk show
Hmm.
down to like 5 or 10 minutes. 5 or 10 minutes, because in anything that you do, you got the beginning,
Middle and the end.
the middle, and the end, which is called the conclusion.
Hmm.
So when you learn to get that, what is the conclusion? What you got to go to a part in the tape where it seems like it's the
They're
end of the
closing
show,
up. Yeah.
but you got all these other slices that you got to do for
Yeah.
10 minutes to make it make sense of the. I can edit all this, what we just did.
Yep.
I can edit all the way down to 10 minutes
Yep.
and cut out everything that is really what they call fill in.
Yep.
When you're talking, we're filling in conversation and stuff. But with the new, have you joined the thread yet?
No, so I was going to, and as soon
Uh,
as I was going to, one of the hosts from the station was like, "Do you know what kind of information they collect on you?" And I was like, "No, honestly, I just assume that if I'm going to use the platform, that it's collecting anything on me."
uh,
So I wanted to do a little bit more research on it before
right.
joining.
Well, it's still owned by the same people.
That's what I told him,
It's,
but I just want to make sure
right. It's owned by
because it's
Facebook
by Meta. So if
and
it's on that
Instagram.
platform, I
What
figure
more
all of
information
them
they
do it.
want? And if they're
Yeah.
gonna send me a paycheck, it's just that it give you more. You can use more characters in talking.
Okay.
And a lot of people. I was on another talk show, the other social media forum. They said, "Well, the guy said, well, I went on there because I like it because you're able to hold a conversation.
Well, that's nice.
It's not like all the other platforms. We're
Or
talking
it's
like
just
we want to
blurbs.
sell something.
Mhm.
We are getting into
Constant
religion.
pitching.
We don't want to, be pitched. I don't want to talk about your religion or my religion. I just want to have a nice conversation. And
Yes.
that's, well, something similar to what I do, but I like to hold a conversation.
Yes.
And I get long-winded. So by thread, they give you about 150 characters
Hmm.
if you just want to text, but you also can talk live too, I think. But like I said, I just joined. I already got people following me. Um, so I'm not trying to send out a lot of, I ain't sending out stuff to Facebook for people to join me, because
Hmm.
I'm moving in different things that I'm doing, because mine is really to try to elevate young people and to look beyond the things that they can't, that they're not capable of doing. Those things will come in time, but to give them the right platform, the right information, then they will look within themselves. As the problem is, they don't really understand is that the amendment said you have freedom of speech, and the Constitution, I think it's the second one, I think, that said you have the right to bear arms. See, black people are dying for the lack of knowledge. If you're 18 years old, all you got to do is go down into the police department and get registered. Then you get your permit, you can go buy a gun. And while you're waiting on doing all that, uh, I don't know if it's 18 or 21 to get a concealed permit.
I think it's 21
21 for conceal, but you have at 18, you have the right
to
to
buy
carry a
arms.
gun. You just can't conceal it. So we around here brandishing guns and doing stuff that's now getting our kids killed.
Mm.
But if they sit down and learn the proper way to handle a gun
It
and
also
look
helps to have that guidance.
right,
I because well, now that you mention it, I think that's where my dad was trying to get us to go for it. I just never
mhm,
wanted to. I always wanted to have an alternative method because I feel like I understand it's a safety thing being a young
uh-huh,
woman out in society, and I've had some like weird stuff try to happen to me, but I also feel like there's other things that I can use
right,
um, for self defense than a gun. And I'm the type of person who, once I learn something, like I train myself and you default to your highest level of training, I
right,
don't want to have that kind of power. Um, and I want to make sure I'm in the right state of mind
mm,
because, again, I've been going through a lot of grief. I wouldn't
right,
want to put myself through that thing. And my
right,
grief started right before I turned 21. So I don't
right.
want, I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I'm good.
Well, that's the point of what you're saying, because that was my experience when I got my gun and registered it. I went into 7-Eleven, I'm legal.
Hmm.
So the guy said, "Hey, you think you bad, don't you?"
No.
Yeah,
It's self
yeah,
defense.
yeah. You got a gun on you. Yeah, you think you bad? I'll take that away from you. I'll take your own gun from you.
Hmm.
I ain't never say nothing. I just paid the guy
You
behind
did
the
well
counter.
not to speak. He didn't use your
Right.
energy.
Yeah. So I went out to the car, got in the car, drove off, and I said to myself, before I even stopped the car, I took the gun off, put it in the glove compartment. I'm never going to wear that again.
Hmm.
That was about 21 or 22. I never wore a gun on me again. Not that
Hmm.
I didn't have it.
Right. That's the
It's
thing.
just
Because
that
when you
this is
wear it
what
out, then it's like,
it's a
and that's,
temptation.
yeah,
I mean, I've got upset with people and go
it's
back to the
easy.
car, get my gun. Now, when I went to the junkyard and the guy sold me a bogus regulator for my car that wasn't
Hmm.
no good. So I take it back before 30 days. Say, it's not working. I want my money. I'm not giving you no money back. I said, excuse me. He said, I'm
Hmm.
not giving you no money back. You need to get out of here. You better get out of here right now, boy.
Oh, you gonna call me boy? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, he was white.
Yeah.
I said, man, you better get out of here, boy. So, my spirit's saying, did he just yell at you? You need to go back in there after you get your gun out the pocket. I got you get your gun out the glove compartment.
Mm.
I go back. And I said, excuse me, why can you ask you? I told you to get out of here. I'm like, got my hand on the trigger in my pocket, getting ready to pull it out. The spirit said, you know, that's you went out and got a gun after the fact and walked back in.
Yep.
He can kill you and he ain't going to jail.
Yep.
So I went
Because
and
you
got in my
literally.
car,
Yep.
drove all the way down to the police station.
Yep.
I want to take a warrant out for the guy at the junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
Took the warrant out. They delivered it. A couple of days later, he come to my house, telling my mom, my mom said, I'm not here because I was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, can you get him to call me? Please tell him to call me about that.
Oh, he was all polite now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
I'll tell
Because
you.
you don't went legal.
Yeah. And he pulled his gun out on me. That's why it made
Mm-hmm.
me mad, because I didn't have mine on me. And I said, okay. And he comes back. I call him. He said, hey, man, look, you can bring that alternator back. I'll Vocus regular or whatever it was. I'll give you money back, and I'll even give you money for your troubles. For bringing it back. I'll give you some extra. I'm sorry. Conclusion is that when I did that, and I was telling somebody, they said, you did what? You
My
went to
mom
that
raised us to do that.
you were messing with that fool at that junkyard up on Turnpike?
Oh, they knew he was bad.
Yeah, they said that fool he already killed one person.
Oh, so you made it out good.
That's why he wanted me to drop it, because he was still had to go to court for the killing of that person.
Yeah.
He was scared to death that I wasn't going to drop it. But I dropped it. I don't know what happened after that. But these are the things that are weapon your mind. I mean, I don't been in those situations. I don't carry a gun.
No, and I understand that.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say about our mom raising us. I distinctly remember her telling us every time we got in trouble, or not in trouble, but every time we had an issue, tell the teacher. Okay, the teacher didn't listen the first time. Tell the teacher. Now tell somebody else. Now
Right.
tell basically document, cover your tracks.
Yeah.
And then
Everything.
if telling the teacher and telling this other person didn't work, which I can't remember who the other title was, then tell the parents, just in case it doesn't get resolved, because they'll take it to the principal and then they'll take it to the school board, which will ignite everybody out, whatever they're doing that's wrong, or
Right.
for not addressing a situation. Because when I was 2, I was the toddler who was taken to daycare and somebody picked on me the entire day. And I had these cute little wooden shoes, right? And at 2, we were sitting up. She had us. I remember she used to sit us on the couch and sit the boys on the floor or on a bench or something, like right near us, so the parents could come grab us. The boy was right in front of me. I clocked him in the back of the head at 2 for bullying me that day. So I didn't care. It was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm sick of this. I don't know if he stopped. I don't remember this incident, but ever since then, our mom always taught us to go through administration first, make the system do its job. If the system doesn't do its job, then that's when you go and you get outside help. But you protect yourself because of situations like that. Because if you'd went in there like you wanted to, if you had the weapon on you the first time, if you had an attitude with the man, if you went even to the report the situation and you didn't handle it as professionally as you did, all of that could have lined up in you not being here today.
Right.
But because you made those decisions and you went the route and you went legal and you went and got it documented, God looked out for you because you showed grace, you showed temperance, you showed self-control, and you showed confidence and a surety of a mindset.
Right. And this is what our young people need today, but they're not getting that. They're getting, you better beat them or I'm going to beat you when you get home. You better fight them and do this. We can't fight our way out of these
Everything.
situations today. We can't use a gun and win this battle.
Right.
Our
It's bigger
young
than
people,
that.
they need to know that somebody truly cares.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody is not going to sit out there and turn their back and put me in a situation because you're the adult and I'm the child and you're telling me I got to face this bully by myself. I mean, I have got people elected, help people to get elected to Richmond, and they said they were going to pass the bill, and when they didn't do it, I got them out of office. We have to make sure that we do what it takes to let people know that you're not going to get my vote and my kids, or I'm going through things all these changes that
Mm-hmm.
you said when you was on stomping ground trying to get that seat.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get the seat, you're passing the buck. Everything they're passing now, even in Richmond. One of the delegates I got up there, he said he was going to champion that. He was going to do this and
Mm-hmm.
got up there, because it's easy with technology today. It's always, people have to understand there's an amp you can get from the amp store
Mm-hmm.
that will tell you everything your people up in Richmond is doing,
Mm-hmm.
what bills they are championing, what they voted for, and what they didn't vote.
Mm-hmm.
You need to educate yourself and your young people that's 17 years old. They need to know these things. So when they go to the polls, they need to know who to vote and who not to vote for.
Mm-hmm.
All this dancing around, we got all these celebrities that wants to be senators. We got people that want the job to be mayor, people that want to be on the city council. And why are we still fighting the same battles that other people before us has already done?
You just reminded me, I never showed you that diagram about the societal hierarchy.
Uh,
I'll see if I can find it at some point. Because every time we talk about this, I picture it in my head because I took a class on intro to mitigation and adaptation, and a part of him talking about why certain changes don't happen, or do happen, or are inspired in the community, inspired with quotation marks, is based off of the hierarchy that he had set, and politicians were not at the top. Like,
oh,
they're
I know.
up there, but they're not like the
Oh,
reason
I
that the
know.
changes happen. Yeah.
It's a game. That's what. When you look at TV, That's why it's on programming. Like when
Mhm.
you look at the blacklist, they're telling you who controls what.
Mhm.
That's what the blacklist about. You
It's a
got the
TV
show that,
show.
yeah, the TV show that comes on tomorrow night is the tomorrow. I mean, today is Tuesday. Tomorrow night is the last night. Thursday night is the last night for the blacklist. The
Mhm.
blacklist is telling you who's in charge. Then it ain't the people that you think is in charge. You
Mhm.
know, just like with Russia and the other guy. The guy was going, he was fighting Russia.
Mhm.
You know, because he said, why we over here fighting? The Ukrainians. So everybody that's in power ain't got power.
Mhm.
Power is as they in history is saying, it's the one who can seize the power. There's a lot of people that's in power, but it ain't the people that you think is in power.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
I'm still
saying?
trying to find that thing. I'm listening.
Yeah. So when we go through things, but the politicians is the one that right now that you have to vote for that said they're going to champion something. And
Correct. That's the
when they get
tangible.
there, they ain't doing it. And like I keep telling people, I ain't saying nothing because I was supporting you. If I was supporting your agenda, I'm one of the votes that helped get you there,
Mhm.
and you ain't doing what you say you're gonna do, I'm gonna be one of the votes that get you out of there
Mhm.
because I know a lot of people,
Mhm.
and I put it to the people. I bring the information to the people,
Right.
and if I bring the information to the people, you're the one that has to answer to the people because they're the one that put you in there. I didn't put you in there by myself.
Right.
It ain't gonna be me by myself coming to get you out of there because young people are dying, and unfortunately, I don't mean no harm to the females, but ain't no mothers crying. Do you ever watch the news when somebody's daughter or son has got shot or killed?
I stopped watching the news
Yeah,
when Trayvon Martin happened.
yeah. Well, but I'm addicted to it. It's like crack. I got it. I'm up 4:30 in the morning. I watch it. I'm watching it now, but I just got the volume turned down.
Mhm.
But I watch it almost 6, 7, 8, 9 hours worth of news. Then I'm on the
Mhm.
internet. So I'm looking to try to find ways. It's like anything else. It's research to find a way to reach these young people. I mean, we can't sit around and I've been blessed to have 7 kids. My family, and I've been blessed that my kids are grown. I got grandkids now, great
Mm-hmm.
grandkids. What are we gonna tell them? What are they gonna tell their kids? You know, they may not want to have kids. You know, then you got to be protective of the kids that you got. I
Yep.
mean, why is it that we have to sit around and wait till drama, something happens, somebody lose someone, just like one of my friends, a guy I know, uh, they shot his son last week. They buried him
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, you know, and I got to
That's
call and
scary.
give him my condolences, condolence. And it's just a matter that we have to recognize that we're losing a generation of black men and black women. And threaten them ain't cutting it. Threaten it doesn't cut it with young people.
Mm-mm.
The only thing that young people to me is lacking is love. You're not loving them, letting them stay in the house. They got guns. In the due time, the, the the alarm has been going off, and it took a 6-year-old kid to take a gun to school and shoot the teacher, and we still
For it to be, yeah.
now she's gonna wind up going to jail.
The teacher?
No,
The mom.
the mom,
Okay.
because she said she had smoked some marijuana somehow,
If she was under the
Yeah,
influence.
under the influence. She don't know how her son got it. But the point is, he did get the gun.
Yeah.
But now that's going to be on his school record. He ain't going to jail, but it's going to be in his mind. What did I do?
Right.
Now, the mental stress. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, but now you got to deal with. He got to deal with that for the rest of his life.
I mean, with proper counseling, and some mentorship,
Right.
he'll because did he kill the teacher?
No, 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 no. He
He
shot
just
her.
injured her.
Right.
So that's a little bit less of a load, and he can grow from that. He might struggle with he might struggle with the self-awareness of how he got there as such a young child, and but it would I see that as a positive turnaround where he might be more proactive about gun safety.
Right.
He'd protect his family in a new way because he understands the dangers because he personally went through that. It's a blessing that he didn't kill the teacher. It's a
Of
blessing that
course.
she was injured and she's able to tell her story. Maybe she can also be a source of influence for him. If anything, I think there's good that can come. And the mom, it'll even help her, to take a different sense of responsibility for her life.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I hope. I mean, I'm praying for all that.
Yeah.
But why are we waiting till this incident happen? This
For
is
something to stir.
these things are continuing to happen. I've been advocating there since the 70s. My community action people organizations been active in the community, doing things for the kids. When the cities, I'm from Portsmouth, they wouldn't let the kids have a They built a recreation center for $1 million,
Hmm.
and they want the kids to go in there to be in the recreation center out in Mount Herm. Had the YMC on Effingham Street. They didn't want the kids to go there because I had a teen dance, and they broke a window in the bathroom. And they ain't come. You're not doing no more dances here. Well, where we at now?
Right.
They ain't breaking windows, so could have been an accident. Nobody got hurt. Just was the window broke. They might have threw something, hit the window, whatever. But I paid for it. I
Hmm.
paid for the window to be replaced. So what are you saying?
Hmm.
One incident causes the whole ship to be sunk.
Hmm.
Same thing when I used to do, and I love kids. So when I'm doing things for the kids, and the cities are telling me all you trying to do is make money. So what are
Hmm.
y'all doing now? What are organizations doing now? Name one organ. Y'all got more organizations than mine. How many organizations out there now can do anything? Anybody that's on here, please type in the comment section. If you got an organization, you ain't got no money. So how can you prevent anything or do anything without money? I went to meetings over in Hampton, over there, and people on the stage saying, "Look, I'm gonna tell you before we get this meeting underway, don't be asking for no money. We need volunteers."
Why?
I'm
You
looking
can't
like,
afford to pay us?
right. Don't ask for no money. These problems with these kids, we need volunteers to mentor them. Wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute, hold up. This is like the meeting started at 7:00. Okay, the people that were there, they had to rush, get off at 5, get through traffic. So
To get there.
you had to get there for a meeting that started at 7:00. And the first thing you can say out your mouth is, don't ask for any money. What? Wait a minute, hold up. I should have stood up because I don't have no problem talking to people in power, because you ain't got no power over me. Aren't you getting paid?
And that was going to be my next question. So you're getting paid to have this meeting. You're expecting these people to they're already volunteering their time to come to this meeting, their gas, their resources that they may or may not have had to ensure they can even get here. And now you want them to volunteer, but you're not going to ask that. You wouldn't ask that of somebody to come take care of your child.
Right. Yeah, we need to volunteer. They need mentors. This was in 2000. This was in 2008 or 9. 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are we at? We in 2023. Where are we at? Ever since I've been doing this since the 70s. Well, we ain't got no money. We ain't got no money. Then when I go out to raise the money, all you trying to do is make money off these kids. Wait a minute. I just hired 8 security, 5 deputy sheriffs, 2 to 3 DJs, paid for the building, bought food to feed them. And you were saying, I'm trying to make money. But then all this stuff just costs money. How did it
Where
get
it's supposed to come from?
I mean, they have an excuse because the problem is the people that we elect to city council. These are the people that makes the decisions. I've been arguing all year with the city of Norfolk, Portsmouth, not so much Virginia Beach, but I'll get them. I'll get all of them at a time. That you're making excuses. Oh, we're in Virginia Beach too. I said, well, I'm doing this program. Can you sponsor? One guy told me, I gave him one of my comic books. He used to be the deputy sheriff in Virginia Beach, but now he works over at the prison over in Portsmouth. He told me, he said, well, I don't see no purpose for your book. I said, what? I don't see no purpose for it. Okay. Virginia Beach, I talked to Ken Starling. I called his office a number of times. So when I went to city council and I saw him, I said, I left a message for you at your office to give me a call. And he said, what was it? I said, well, I was trying to, see what, the sheriff department buy some of my comic books for the, prisoners to read and stuff. But nobody never returned the call. Portsmouth, they said, well, we don't have a budget for this. I thought President Joe Biden just gave all the cities to fight gun violence and whatever else is going on $170 million. And you don't have, I ain't, whatever you can give me, bro. I mean, make it light on yourself. I said, 5 figures. That's a little bit too much. We don't have that kind of money. We're not doing it. Then I went back and said, okay, we'll drop it down to 4 figures or whatever. I'm sorry, we still don't have it. Let me
They
see.
pre-allocated all that money is what that probably means.
Right, $170 million that you
Yeah.
supposed to. This is what it's no. They can't allocate it because if they did, we wouldn't have a problem. The money's supposed to have been used for grassroots organizations
Yeah.
to deal with preventing gun violence. $170 million,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
So if you are done exhausted $170 million and more people than died in your cities, what did you do with the money?
Right.
Norfolk, same thing. Went to the meeting. They almost had a riot. That's why the city manager, he got dismissed. I guess they took the money and gave it to Chrysler Hall. They gave Chrysler Hall $50 million for renovations. $50 million don't sound like a gun violence prevention program to me.
No.
$50 million,
Yeah.
but people don't know that. So when people are sitting around and don't go to these city council meetings, you get tired of talking to them. Police department, sheriff departments. I talked to a guy in the sheriff department. Yeah, man, I'm well known in Norfolk. I said, okay.
Yeah.
I said, but if you're so well known, man, I work in the community. Well, how come you having so much killing in Norfolk? Everybody got an excuse for what's going on. We don't need no books in the prison, in the jails over here. They got books. I said, yeah, but your book, yeah, everybody got books. The library got books. But just like your jail got prisoners that wouldn't be in there if they was reading the right book. Hey, man, you know who you talking to?
Yes.
Hey, man, I know somebody that don't care about the community. You talking about yourself. You ego tripping.
Yeah. Every
It
time I
ain't
get
about
somebody that asks me that question, I'd be like, "Do you know who you talking to?"
right. Well, they will. I mean, I keep telling people, you know, God don't make no mistakes.
No, you don't make no mistakes.
He,
You talking
he,
about this individual reminds me of the individual that is the reason that I walked over to talk to you in the first place.
right. You know, I've been successful at what I done on a small scale because I on a larger scale I don't have the resources.
Hmm.
You know, apparently I must have been talking about something because before Congressman Cummings passed away, he invited me to come to Congress and speak. But my
Hmm.
schedule at the time was, I didn't have the limited time to take off. Just taking off from brief things. A lot of you telling
Hmm.
people, uh, I don't make noise. I make history.
Hmm.
So when people are talking, I don't have to brag about what I do because it's not me. It's what God sent us to do. We
Yeah.
have the obligation. We have rent. We have rent to do. We have
Yeah.
a bill to pay. We don't live on this planet for free. God gave us the ability to achieve certain goals and
Hmm.
accomplish certain things. All this nonsense. God didn't make money, man did. That's why we have the evil.
Hmm.
Man did not. God didn't make money. Look in the Bible. In Proverbs, he said that the most precious than rubies and pearls, more valuable than silver and gold. He ain't seen that $1 bill in there. What did Jesus
Right.
do when he went in the temple? He turned the money changers table over and said, "You're using my father's house like a den of thieves."
Hmm.
So when we are sitting around here seeing young people dying, life that ain't even had an opportunity to even know,
Start.
don't even to start and don't
Yeah.
know what they can become because we too busy filling our coffins with money.
Yeah.
Because you want a job, you get the job as a city council, mayor, or a delegate, senators, or the president. With all the power at your disposal, why is it our kids are still dying?
Right.
You know, so when we look at things and not looking at the right things, God is sending you warnings. What
Yeah.
part y'all don't understand? Oh, I know most people don't watch the news. You think the sun this week, the hottest temperature the planet
95 degrees or
has
something like that.
has ever had. God, how many warnings God has to give you in the history of the planet in the last few days? The hottest it's ever been.
Yep.
What? Why?
Look, I'm more scared about that world peace. I saw something on YouTube, and I have a Zoom at 2 o'clock, so I can stay here till like 2:50 or 1:50 ish. I mean,
Yeah.
um, I saw something on YouTube. They have all these controversial, not content creators, controversial influencers. I guess things keep happening. So there's this one that went really popular for her apology video about not about in her apology video she's using a ukulele. She's singing. And then there's not really accountability taken, but then there is accountability taken. And one of the YouTubers that I watched that did a review on it just was like, this sounds like the start of world peace because people are seeing this and they're understanding like the flaws in like what she did, why it's not okay, and everybody's standing up and agreeing. And I was like, no, please, like the world peace part means it's about to be here. It's actually here, not it's about to be here. Like it's
Right.
time. World
And
peace and then chaos. I
right.
don't want to be here for that.
All you got to do is watch the world news. Don't even look at the local. You always know it's going to be on the local news. People getting killed, shot every day. The world news. The other part of the country is flooding. They're flooding. I ain't talking about. I'm talking about up over buildings. What part you don't understand? God is trying to get your attention, but we too busy trying to get the bag. We too busy worrying about everything that God has already told you in that book. Would you stop? People, it's not religion. What we do every day, what we do when we turn on the TV, what we do when we pick up our cell phone and talk on it, what we do on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that's religion. Is something you do every single day. The Bible is your roadmap for this planet. It tells you what you need to do to survive. What part you don't understand? All you got to do is read the book. I think Moses could explain it to you when he went to Pharaoh and said, let my people go. Who are you to tell me? What God told you to tell me that? Ask them what happened is in the book. The same thing that's going on today is going on now. The flooding, the people dying, food shortage, all this stuff went on then. So what part that God got to keep warning you about the same thing until he gets your attention? You're losing a generation of young people. And that was the reason Jesus came in the world. And that before he was born, the pharaohs went around and say, kill all newborns, kill them. Because they talking about a king is going to be born. Well, I don't know what to tell y'all. All I know is your brothers and sisters, your babies, your next door neighbor, kids are dying in the street, in the schools. When is it going to be enough? It's going to be enough. Because nobody has all the answers, and I'm not one to have the answers. But I do know somebody has an answer to everything that's going on. That's why he came in the world. His name is Jesus Christ. Because let me share this and I'll close the program. I didn't come to preach, but God don't talk to us. You can only talk to Jesus. That's why he came in the world. It's in your book. No man cometh to the Father unless he cometh through me. So we are losing a generation of young people because we too busy knowing everything but not doing enough to save a generation of young people that ain't even had a chance to live or to enjoy life. And I really appreciate you coming on today, even though I got off topic like I normally do. I'm sorry. You know, that's the way it goes. You have to come
No,
back
you're
another day.
good. You have a lot of support from Nick Trevino. He's somebody I met when I was working on that documentary project.
Who's that?
Nick Trevino. He's on
Oh,
my Facebook page. He's been watching.
oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that. I don't have but one goal, and that's to prevent these young people from losing their lives. It's just plain and simple as the nose on your face.
Hmm.
All you got to do is ask them, what can I do?
Hmm.
And they will tell you what you need to do. They ain't your enemy, but they're the ones that's dying. They're the one that's the pipeline to prison. They try to put me in there, but the one that sent me said, no, that's not going to happen.
Right.
You know, so we all have opportunity to change things in life, but I never been one about the bag. I've been about the one getting the bag so we can prevent where we are now.
Hmm.
You know, so that's the thing is you can't do nothing without money. They know that. That's why
Hmm.
when they give it to people to distribute, they give it to the people so they distribute it where they want to, and then you can complain. But they said we gave your city millions of dollars.
Hmm.
Well, then you should have had a check and balance to make sure that it got to the grassroots organizations and not to companies that ain't doing nothing in the community. Oh, but they did. They start letting.
Accountability.
Oh, I know I'm going to, but they did. I'm gonna say this and go. They did. They started letting black people hang their art in Chrysler Museum
Yeah.
when they wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
So they did do something for the $50 million that the city gave them.
That's not a very big fair
But
trade.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But thank you so much for coming on. You know, and really appreciate you. And have a great day. And we'll presume this another day.
Sounds
Thank you.
good. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you as always. Bye bye. Well, it's been fun, but she has to run, and so do I. I got to get ready for my 3 o'clock show. I probably will edit this down. That's what I basically was doing to make it a part two series because it's entirely too long for those that did watch or view or maybe watch later. I just want to conclude with the concert that's going to be coming to Norfolk, the Vicky Winings, the 757 Queens of Gospel concert that's coming to Norfolk. And hopefully that I will have some tickets, VIP tickets to be given away on my radio show, probably starting next week. If you'd like to be one of the recipients to be able to get on the VIP list, and that's going to be at the New Calvary in Norfolk, 800 East Virginia Beach Boulevard, where the Reverend Dr. W.M. Marcus Smalls, pastor, is the pastor of the church. This event is a, you can text Steve MacArthur at 757-625-9547 for tickets. In advance donation is 35. It'll be 40 at the door. And he does have chocolate that will be hosting this event. And some of the people that will be on the concert is Hope Shear from the Hope Shear radio show. She'll be performing. And Juanita Wynn, Grammy Award winning Juanita Wynn, will be performing as well. And a host of other uh, uh, performers. And if you have kids that are 12 and under, they'll be able to get into this concert free. 12 and under, they will be able to get into the concert free. That's a MacArthur's film production. MacArthur 1752, the 757 Queens of Gospel concert with Gospel Grammy Award winning Vicki Winans. Until next time, thank y'all so much for charming and watching. And please share. Bye-bye.